Hello. Sorry for the delay. I feel like I've recorded this video a million times. It's giving me a little bit of a rough time for some reason. But welcome to your keyboard piano beginner tutorial, if you will, that several of my students have asked for. And this is also for whoever in the public would like to learn the basic layout of a piano and how to start. These are for any age. If you're very young, if you're like kindergarten age, you might want to take some spots in the video and pause and practice what I've told you a couple times until you've got it. And I'll try to let you know when a good time is to pause. If you're a little bit older, you can go ahead and fly through it. Each idea as I present them, you can just keep it moving, and I'll give you some ideas of what might challenge you as well. So I'm going to try to address every age group that might be watching this video. So let's jump right into it. First things first, I just have my little keyboard here. It's nothing horribly fancy. I wish I had a real stand-up piano or a baby grand, you know, someday when I'm rich and famous and have space for one. I'll do that. But for now, I'm just on my little electronic keyboard, so forgive me. Okay, so first things first, you want to make sure that you are sitting comfortably. Whether you are at a electronic keyboard or an actual piano, posture is important. You want to make sure your hands can rest comfortably on the keys, that you're not leaning forward and crunching and uncomfortable, and also that you don't have to reach really far to get to the keys. So you want to have a good distance, feet flat on the floor, straight back, so that you are comfortable. Nobody wants to see a piano player that is playing a piano like this. That's not cute. Nobody pays money for that. They want to see someone that looks like they know what they're doing. So you want to sit nice and tall with good posture. That's the first thing. And if you happen to be sitting on a bench, you might want to, you know, if it's height adjustable, you might want to adjust it and make sure that, you know, you're able to reach the keys without lifting up, especially if you're one of my little ones. You don't want to have to reach up here to play the keys. You want to be at a good height also. So those are things to keep in mind with posture. Now, once you're sitting comfortably and everything's hunky-dory there, you want to figure out the piano. What's here? What are we working with? Before you do anything else, you have to figure out what we're looking at here. So we have some low notes over here. This is my left hand. This is the left side of my keyboard. This might be a little different for you because you're looking at me. So if this is my left hand, it might be the opposite for you, so don't let that be confusing. Figure out which one is your left hand and then which side of the piano your left hand wants to go to. Left is low. Remember that. Left is low notes. Then we have my right hand over here, which is going to play, you guessed it, the high notes. All the high notes are up here on the left side. So the bottom of the piano is your left. Low notes at the bottom. And the top part, the tippy top part, which is on your right hand side, those are where all your high notes are going to be. And of course the middle is right in the middle. That's easy, right? So you want to remember, left hand, low notes. This is your bottom on the left side here. High notes, right hand. Top side of the keyboard, and the middle's right in the middle. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hope my video doesn't stop running. Okay, good. Stopped on me the previous time. I don't know why. I'm just making sure it keeps working. So, and little ones, feel free to, yes, find the low notes, find high notes, find the middle notes. You can do that for as long as you wish. Now, the next thing, what else do we have here? We have some white keys, and we have some black keys. What's that all about? So, look at your black keys. We've got a set of 2. I don't know if you can see as well from this angle, but you should have sets of 2 right next to each other, and then you're going to have sets of 3. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 3 black keys. If you're on a real piano, you're going to have a lot more than me, because a real piano has 88 keys if you add up all the white and all the black. Mine maybe has 60. I'm not real sure, but it's not 88. So, count yours. How many 2 black keys can you find in a row? They're all clumped together. You've got 2 right next to each other, and then there's a space, and then you'll have 3, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2, and then 3. And they go back and forth like that the whole way up and down the piano. So see if you can do that. My younger kids, you know, find your groups of 2, find your groups of 3. You can play around with that. You can pause the video if you need to play around with that for as long as you like, because this is very important. Now, find one set of 2 black keys. One set. And there is a white key in the middle. Any pair of 2 black keys you find right in the middle, there's going to be a white key. I wish I could zoom in a little bit and show you. Maybe I can. I don't know. I don't want to hurt anything here. Let's see. See if I can show you without breaking anything here. See, here's some 2 black keys. And here's my white key right in the middle. So, this white key in the middle of these 2 black keys, that's very important. That's a D. That's the letter D. Let me put this back up where I had it. The things we do for education. There we go. Beautiful. So, that's your D. That is your D key. So, find all the Ds. See if you can find all the Ds. Find your 2 black keys, find your white key that is dead center in the middle of those 2 black keys, and you have found the letter D. D, D, D. Just like I have 5 sets of black keys, I have 5 Ds. If you can find D, you're in awesome shape. Now, there are 2 ways of doing your fingers and how we play. You can remember with finger numbers. Each of your fingers has a number. This is very important. And you can also remember the note names. So I'm going to show you both of those because both are very important. When it comes to finger numbers, the thumbs are always 1. Thumbs are 1, pointers are 2. See, my other fingers are moving. I'm trying to keep them from moving, but it's hard. Thumbs are 1, pointers are 2, middles are 3, ring finger is 4, and your pinkies are number 5. Notice they kind of are going the opposite way. But don't let that trick you. Thumbs are always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinkies are always 5, thumbs are always 1. You can remember that. You can remember the rest that go in the middle. So, my older kids, this is going to be tricky for my younger ones because my youngers have a tendency to do what I call the hunt and peck, where you just kind of like when you're first learning to type on a computer keyboard, you're just, okay. If you can find the notes, that's fantastic. If you can find D, awesome sauce. But we don't want to learn to play the piano that way because it doesn't look very cool. We want to learn with every finger going on a different note. That's how we want to learn. We want to make sure that each finger has its own home. So for this, I'm going to put my thumb, which is number 1. I'm going to put that right here. D, that D I told you to find between those 2 black keys, that's my pointer finger. That's going to go on D. What comes before D in the alphabet? C. So C is going to go my thumb in 1. C, D, after D is E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Now if you've got that down, you can just do that over and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. For my younger kids, this is going to be a little bit challenging for you because, again, we have a tendency to want to hunt and peck. You want to try to get your thumb on that first key. You also want to have your hand in kind of a C shape so that you make sure you're not playing like this. That doesn't look pretty, and it also makes your fingers really tense. So you want to have If you have like a little Play-Doh ball, you can put that on the piano and rest your hand on top of it. See how I have like a nice curve here? That's what you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, D, E, F, G. Make sure you're hitting that D. And I'm going to give you a closer angle here so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. I'll give you all the angles here today so you can see what's happening. Where's my C? Here's my C. Move it down a little bit. You see how each finger has a different note? That's really important. It seems silly, but it's super important. So, once you've kind of got your finger numbers down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you feel pretty confident with that, you can move on to kind of figuring out the musical alphabet, which I've kind of briefly touched on here. So you know your finger numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I mentioned C, D, E, F, G. Well, the musical alphabet is a little bit different than the normal alphabet. There's no H, there's no J, there's no Y, there's no Z. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it. Those are the only letters that you have to deal with. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That's it. Very simple. So you might be thinking to yourself, Miss D's, that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's 7 letters. You just said earlier there's 88 keys on a keyboard. You are correct. So what we do is we just repeat. There, you can see my face a little bit better now. You just repeat. So if it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then you start over A, B, C, D, F, G, 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 until you run out of keys. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So, in theory, if you can find one note on the piano, if you can find one note, which I gave you a trick to find D, and I'll show you again. See, here's my 2. You see my 2 black keys in a row here? Well, here, I'll do these. You see my 2 black keys in a row right here? There's that D. 2 black keys, there's that D. Well, what comes before D? C. What comes after D? E. C, D, E, F, G. Now you want to make sure that you're going up the piano. C, D, E, F, G. So if you're going down, then you're going backwards through the alphabet. That'd be C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. You're going backwards. We're going up. C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E, F, G. So if you can find D, you can find the C that's right before it, and you can find the E that's right after it. So those are the things that I would really like those of you watching this to work on in particular. Finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't worry about your left hand yet. Left hand is hard. If you can master your right hand doing C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've got an excellent start. You got an excellent start. If you can find D on a keyboard, excellent start. Because if you can find D, then you can find C. If you can find D, then you can find E. And then after E comes F and G. So that's 5 notes that you've figured out right there. If you have, a little sticker or a piece of tape that you want to like put on your keyboard, if your parents will let you, and label that D, if that helps you, do that. Whatever helps you. I have a little piece of tape on here labeling where one of my C's are to help some of the students that I've taught. Whatever helps you, but that little D trick is very helpful because then you can find any D. And if you can find any D, you can find any of the other letters. So finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find D. Find the high notes and the low notes. And then as we go on, I'll start showing you how to do some things with the left hand. For right now, just practice with your right hand because adding in the left hand is a little bit tricky. Some finger exercises you can do, skip around the numbers a little bit. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll show you. And you could slow that down. You can... If you're really having trouble with your fingers, if you're having trouble getting them to move one at a time, do some little finger stretches, like squeeze them real tight and let them go. Wiggle them around a little bit. Your fingers have muscles in them just like your legs and your body, and you need to train those muscles just like you do anything else. So you want to get used to using each finger one at a time. It can be very frustrating, I know, but once you've got it, you've got it. So don't be afraid to stretch those fingers out a little bit. Once you get good at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can skip around a little bit. You can go 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. You can go 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 1. That sounds weird, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are exercises that you can just do. They will build up your finger agility. They'll make your fingers better, and they'll help you learn the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, D, E, F, G. And again, from there, let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything important. From there, we will, learn some things with the left hand and all of that. Oh, and then we'll go into actual rhythms and what music looks like on a page. I've showed you the keyboard, I've showed you the note names, and I've showed you where things are, but then you've got to learn what it looks like on paper, how to read music on a paper and play what you see on the keyboard. You got to learn that part. You got to learn, quarter notes and all of that. Some of you that have had me as a teacher, you already know tas and TTs and all of that. You know what a quarter note looks like. You know what an eighth note looks like, but some of you may have no idea. You need to learn to see that on a piece of paper and be able to play it down here. So those are the things we'll be working on in the next section of videos. What the different rests are and things like that. It's what we call music theory, when you learn the math behind the music, basically. So, for now, work on your finger numbers. Practice finding D. Get used to the keyboard, play around, and be gentle, please. Don't. Make sure you sit nice. I'm not sitting nice right now because I'm holding the camera. But make sure that you're using decent posture with a straight back and you're not slumped over looking icky. You want to make sure that you're sitting nice and you've got your feet flat on the floor. Those are important things. And yeah, if you can master that, you'll be ready for the next lesson. All right, I hope this was informative. I'm going to stop yakking. I apologize that this video is kind of all over the place. It's hard to show the piano from different angles, but I really want you to see what I'm doing, so I hope that was helpful. All right, have a good day.